Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, Ride with Ginger. I'm Ginger. So today I wanted to talk about what I did as a new rider. Well, I'm still a new rider. What I did literally in the first week, and how I'm feeling now, and would I do anything different. I know that as... Whew, it's hot. I know as a new rider, we're constantly looking for information on what's the best way to learn. So I'm just going to tell you what I did, and you can go from there. So the first day, so I'm going to put my visor down. Oh, but I want to talk to you. Let's keep going. So I first did the MSF course. I did that on a scooter. My original thought was that I was going to get a scooter. I wanted to learn the mechanics, learn turning, learn how to be defensive before I started getting into the shifting. I didn't want to be distracted by it. So I first took the MSF course on a scooter, passed it, got my license. But during those 2 days, I realized the scooter wasn't going to make me happy. I felt a little awkward sitting, as if I was at a tea party. Nothing against scooters, it just wasn't for me. I did not feel at ease. I kept feeling like my knees were in the way. It didn't feel like a natural way to transport yourself. So after the MSF course, I started looking at motorcycles that were automatic. Man, those are expensive. And I wasn't willing to put in that kind of money just yet. I'm gonna pull over here. So then I decided, well, maybe I'll just shoot the bullet and get a motorcycle. I was a little worried that I was going to be distracted by the shifting, but in reality I wasn't. It actually came extremely natural to me. I drove a car for 20 years. That was manual. I took my driving test in manual. I learned in a manual car. That's just what I was used to, so it became very natural to me. But I'm still happy that I did the MSF course on a scooter. I am definitely one of those people that likes to baby step their way to something. I really like to know a lot about the foundation before I spring forward. So having that baby step of doing the MSF course on the scooter was really helpful. I got to practice things without worrying about the shifting, still listening to what they were saying about an actual motorcycle and techniques. But then once I got the motorcycle, I could put those into play. So we bought the motorcycle 2 days after the MSF course. Ken drove it home, or rode it home. And then that first day, all I did was this. Put it in first. Let's close that. Put it in first and just let out. Started to move and stopped. Pulled out the clutch, found the friction zone and stopped. Pulled out the clutch, found the friction zone and stopped. I did this for about 15 minutes the first day, and that was it. That's all that I did. Nothing else. So, literally 15 minutes, barely moving an inch, putting in the clutch and out. Friction and out. Then on the second day, I expanded on that. I let the clutch out and let it go for a little bit, picking my feet up, not necessarily putting them on the pegs because that was just way too advanced for me, but just letting it move in that friction zone. And I did that for, I want to say, half an hour. Just letting it go. No throttle, nothing, just letting it go. Towards the end of that day, I did end up getting my feet on the pegs and going just a little bit. I don't think I ever went more than 10 feet at a time, and that was it. Then on the third day, I was ready for some throttle, or so I thought. So again, I spent a couple minutes just playing with the friction zone, getting ready to do this, and then a little bit of the throttle. I did not take any turns those first day. I literally walked the bike around. Now, one thing, I got really, really frustrated on that third day. And the reason is I didn't know how sensitive the throttle was. And working with the clutch and the throttle, it just never felt right. I either stalled out or I kind of gave it too much power and I just couldn't figure it out. The third day was really, really short. I got super frustrated and I was like, you know what? It's hot. I'm frustrated. If I just keep pushing into it, I'm going to get more frustrated and that's not going to be the right thing. So I'm just going to say today that's all the practice and get at it again tomorrow. And that's what I did. So the next day, again, started with the basics. Then I started playing with the clutch. Or sorry, the throttle. Just a little bit. And again, this day was a little awkward as well because I wanted to go a little bit, but I felt like I was struggling in first gear still. And so towards the end, I was like, well, let me just get it into second and see what happens. And I started, to me, it sounded and it felt like it didn't want to be in first gear. So that day wasn't as short as the one before, but it was still on the short side. So I then went to YouTube and the forums and Google and everything. And that's what I found out. The shifting on this Rebel 300 is ridiculously crazy. It does not like first gear. First gear at about 10 miles per hour, and then I gotta go to second gear. Once I do that, still second gear. Let me put it to you this way. Chances are, if I'm going 30 miles per hour, I'm probably already in fifth gear. It's just something that I had to adjust, and quite frankly, I am still playing around with it. So that would be a very, very big piece of advice that I would give is go to your user manual and look up the shifting rates. I don't even know that that's what they're called, but look up what you should be shifting at and go from there. That would definitely be one of my big suggestions. So after I looked that up the next day, I went at it again. Again, just kind of going up and down my street. this is not my street, by the way, but going up and down my street. And so that's what I did. So on the second day, I went up and down my street again, playing with first and second gear, and then walking it as I turned it back around and went down again. I never exceeded second gear, just kind of kept going back and forth. And then on the third day, I was like, I need to get up and go, right? Like, it's time. I know I said I like baby steps, and babies like to learn how to crawl before they can walk. But if they crawl for too long, then eventually they have trouble walking. I have no idea. I don't have kids. This is what I hear. So at this point so what am I at? I think I'm at like the 5th or 6th day, and I'm like, okay, I gotta just go. So at this point, I started taking it around the neighborhood, 1 block at a time. At first, still staying in second gear, but doing a couple turns, and then meeting back, because Ken stayed in the driveway, and so meeting back with him. How did it go? What are your thoughts? And then doing it again, and just kind of playing around with it. And then finally, I did get up to 3rd gear, and that was good. That was nice. And so that was good. And I did that for the next couple days, just staying around the neighborhood. I never really went faster than about 20 miles per hour, maybe 25. I just didn't feel comfortable in the neighborhood going any faster than that. And so then at that point, I was like trying to think about what else I could do. I got in the car and I drove around different places to see maybe if there was somewhere else that I could practice and not be too concerned about the neighborhood. And then we came across one of the dealerships who has a safety course in their parking lot, and guess what? They're closed Sunday and Monday. So we did that a couple times. Ken rode the Ken rode the motorcycle out to there. I met him in the truck, and I just kind of practiced some of the same stuff that was going on the MSF course that I did on a scooter, but now doing in the motorcycle. So definitely a lot of turning, a lot of U-turns. Man, I did a lot of U-turns. So after I did that a bunch of times, I then started expanding my radius of where I would ride to. So it got just my neighborhood, then it got to the main street and just kind of circle in and out. Then it got to the next neighborhood following the main street, and then it got to frontage road, and kind of just doing a full circle. Did that a handful of times, a couple days in a row. And then so since then, besides riding to work every day, I've just been practicing. It kind of goes back and forth, where I feel some days I'm doing really, really well at turning, and then other days I feel like I'm back to ground zero. And I'm doing my best just to breathe and take it in stride.
So it looks like I actually lost the last bit of my audio, so I'm re-recording some of it for you. So that's the last 2 months, 500 miles of learning to ride, and now for the last month, I've been riding to work every day. Definitely having fun, still learning a lot. Definitely happy with my choice. Ken and I are loving this new adventure. Still have a lot to work on, a lot to practice on, but even the practicing is fun, so that works out. If I have to give anybody some advice, is Know yourself, know what frustrates you, know what motivates you, and go from there. And above all, have fun. That's it for today, folks. Thank you for watching. Again, if you found value in this video, please like. Till next time, see you later.